It started from my video that I posted back in December time, I think, and it was normalising running under 5k. The comments on that are insane.
You mentioned the run invest thing. It's a decision you've just decided to put it on, to go for a run. And then that's just blown up.
I wore it marathon training because I needed somewhere to put my phone. Because who wants to hold their phone in their keys? I get so many comments where they're like, oh, you're walking. The whole pace conversation is funny because I don't see why people care. I'm Ella, I'm 24, about to be 25 in July. I'm a slower runner, as I like to say online. Wasn't really a runner to begin with at all, so it's all pretty new to me. So I kind of still class myself as beginner. I have a run club, which is all virtual, and I've been doing social media for quite a while, quite a long time, and yeah, sums me up.
So that's interesting. You've been doing social media for quite a long time, but you still consider yourself a newer runner. Where were you kind of in the social media space before running came into your life?
It was actually completely different. I used to do makeup. So I'm a trained makeup artist, is what I do, is my job day to day. I started posting probably like 2017. It was mainly all beauty. And I did that all the way up until 2023 when I got into the London Marathon, and then it all changed. And I was like, right. And then I like did a bit of both. And then now makeup's just been ditched.
No, it's just pure running,
Yes.
100% running. Okay, well that's a good place to start then, kind of that journey between the two, and London Marathon in 2023 kind of being, I guess, the thing that really accelerated things. But what was the moment to that point? Because you don't just enter the ballot or run for charity and hope you're gonna kind of
No.
do it. Like what was the journey to the point of running the London Marathon?
Well, I think we're probably all the same, as in we watch it on the telly
Yeah.
and you get inspired and you have a little cry because it's all very emotional. And then you think to yourself, could I do that? Like, I always say to my mum, I'm always like, do you think we could do it? And then, like, realistically, I'd never ran like more than 30 seconds. So why would I ever? But I then actually had a client who was doing it in 2023, and then she did it, and I was like, I'm going to sign up. I'm just going to see. Chances of getting in so slim. I thought, well, it's not going to happen anyway. But I said, if I do get in, I'll do it because you don't expect to get in. And then it was July. I got the email because my mum signed up as well. She didn't get in, and she was like, thank God. But then I checked mine, and of course, my luck, it was like, oh, you're in. And I just thought, oh no.
Did you get in through the ballot?
Yeah, first time.
Oh, yeah, Ella, I'm not even gonna lie. I think you're the first person that I've met ever that has got in through the ballot. Like, I'm in this running world. I've been in the running world for a very long time, and I don't know if I've ever met another person that's got in through the ballot. So that is, I mean, that's unbelievable.
I
You
kind of
have
don't like
to.
saying it though because I feel like I'm boasting. I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
No, I mean, you literally, it's literally pure luck, but it's unbelievable that you managed to get in, and like you say, like you can't really not do it at that point.
Oh god, no, that's like a once in a lifetime thing. Like if someone gives you the chance, you just got to do it.
Yeah, no, that's class. So you were saying about your mum not getting in, but you getting in. What was that moment? What was that moment to you like then? Like, was that a realization of, oh my God, I can't run for more than 30 seconds, but I'm gonna have to?
Yeah, it was kind of I think after I watched the London Marathon, you always go out for a run, don't you? And you think, I'll just test it. I didn't have the right trainers or anything. I thought, right, I'll do one run of couch 5k. This is even before I knew I'd gotten in. And I probably I started running. I just thought my form was so off. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, and then, yeah, got that email, and you just think, oh, I've actually got to do it now. And you think, I've really got to sort myself out. Because at that point, I did not work out. Like, I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do like any form of solid exercise. It was like the odd workout video once in a blue moon. So I was not a fitness person in the slightest.
Okay.
Um, I would say though, the London Marathon was definitely like a wake up call to like sort yourself out.
Okay. That's like a really interesting way of thinking about it as well, because the way you're speaking, it's almost like you didn't have a choice, right? Like you understand that, like if you're kind of balloted and picked, you're like, right, you kind of got to do this now. Like
Yeah.
this is like your opportunity. So deciding that entering the ballot that 1 year, deciding to do that, has genuinely at this point changed your life, hasn't it?
Mm. No, it has, and I always say it is probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I probably was stuck in a bit of like a rut of didn't know what I was doing with anything, and then getting into a marathon is like you're fully committed and it gives you something to do.
Yeah.
Like I know it's a bit extreme, but but yeah, there was definitely a thing of just looking after yourself a bit better.
And did you feel like the process of leading up to London did that? Did it achieve that? Like, did you start thinking about other elements of your health and your kind of fitness journey as well?
Yeah, definitely. It made me realise that I tell you, you need to look after yourself. And like as you get older and things, and yeah, it made me realise how much I didn't exercise at all. And you always think, oh, I don't need to do that. But it is actually made you realise how good it is for you, like mentally and physically as well. And like don't get me wrong, marathon training was really hard. Like it was difficult. And so many times I was like, I actually don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. Because going from nothing to a marathon in 8 months is obviously quite extreme.
Yeah.
Um, and most people will be like, why are you doing that? But I feel like that's quite a lot of people that get into the London Marathon. There's quite a lot of non-runners. That's why I like it because it's a very like
Mm.
inclusive marathon.
Yeah.
There's so many different people.
Did it feel like that as well? Like on the actual day, did it feel inclusive? Did you feel that festival atmosphere, that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of vibe?
there is every person from every walk of life at the London Marathon, any age, just fitness level, and you always feel like you've got people around you that are the same level. 'Cause sometimes you go to races and there's people so much faster than you, and you just think, I'm going to be at the back, which is fine. But it's nice when you've got people there with you.
Yeah. And that's one thing that you do really well, I think, as kind of like on social now. And we'll get into kind of the transition from, the makeup content to the running content, because I'd imagine that was, I mean, kind of odd to start with for everybody around you.
Mhm.
And also, online, I know you've, people online can be a bit harsh sometimes as well. So like, I know that's all gone on over the time too, but like just kind of focusing on what you do really well in the short term. It's like the inclusivity that you put across on your social is something that I absolutely love. It's like you did a reel the other day, which was amazing and look really relatable to I think everybody, because I think you always have to remind yourself that whatever distance or pace that you decide to out at on any given day, you've still gone for a run. I think you were talking about the fact like normalizing a 3K run. Like you still went out and did a 3K run. And like
Mm.
that should be normalized for everybody, not if you're just a quote unquote slower runner. You've still put your shoes on, you've
Yeah.
still gone out the door and you've still done the same thing. Like is that something that you try and put across on your social, or is it just something that kind of quite naturally comes?
I think I just try and keep it so realistic
Yeah.
because I'm not someone that will just go out. Like 5K is hard. And I think it's very normalized online that 5K is, people always say, oh, it's like just a 5K, but it's not. Like 5K, I've not ran 5K since May. It's a difficult distance, and my regular distance at the moment is like a 3K, but 3Ks is still hard. So I always say that if you are running under 5, like it still counts. Because I think there's a bit of a toxic thing towards running less. So I'm just trying to put across that like it's okay if you don't run 5.
It's so weird that we've put this, like, I say we, but like I'm using the royal we, I guess, here in
Mm.
terms of like the community. Like, why is there? Why has there been this, if it's under 5, it's not a run? Where's that even come from?
I know, it's weird.
It literally
It's
doesn't make any sense. It's like if you can't, if you can't run under X time for X distance, then you're not a runner. You're like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
no, the amount of comments I get saying you're not a runner, and I'll be honest, it doesn't bother me. I do find it quite funny because I just can't imagine hating on someone for literally improving themselves.
Mm.
That's what I find crazy. And yeah, I think people forget that people work forever to get to a 5K distance. But I think it's become so normalized to go running like a casual half marathon on a random Thursday. And like, great if you're doing that, like, incredible. But I also feel like it's not realistic for probably like 80% of people.
Do you think that normalization of it is maybe a little bit of a problem?
I'd say so, yes, because I think it can, like, don't get me wrong, I follow people and I admire them. But when they're posting that they ran 30K on a Sunday and I've ran 4, you think, oh, I've only done 4. But then some beginner runner would think, oh, 4K is amazing. But it's just that comparison, which we go through all the time with social media, of I'm not running far, like the right distance, I'm not running the right speed. Um, but then I get a lot of like comments and messages saying like, "Oh, thank you for keeping it like realistic because I'm not going out and running a 10K at 5 in the morning and then going to work because who's doing that?
Yeah.
Like, really?"
Yeah, it's like it's super interesting when you start to talk about percentages, right? Because you do then realize, like, the vast majority of people that are runners, and everybody that runs is a runner, but the vast majority of people who are runners are literally doing it to further themselves, right? To get that 10% better in their mood, in their, relationship with their body, in their exercise routine. That's what it is about for them. And I think we fall into the trap of being like, if you're not doing this, or if you're not doing that, or if you're not doing the other, you're not a runner. It's like, no, like, everybody that does put their trainers on, everybody that gets out of the door should consider themselves a runner. And I think, again, that's what you do so well, and what you do so well through the club as well is promote that message. You kind of spoke about some of the hurtful comments and harsh comments. When that first started to happen, I know you said, like, it doesn't really bother you now, but when it first started to happen, was that a little bit like, "Ooh, jarring," like, "Ooh, this is odd"?
It was interesting because it started from my video that I posted back in December time, I think, and it was normalising running under 5K. And I'd gone for a 2.3K run and filmed it.
Okay.
And that hit, I don't know what it's on now, but I think it's about 3 million views. But the comments on that are insane with the amount of, I mean, obviously there is lovely comments as well, but it is people commenting, "You're not a runner. No, it doesn't count." Obviously, then all the hate of why you're wearing a running vest for as a whole different thing. And then, yeah, saying you're slow. Oh, you just ran round the block. And then obviously the comments about how you look start. And I've never been a person to majorly care what someone says about me. Like throughout my whole life, I've just kind of always brushed it off. And I suppose that's quite like a privileged thing to say. It goes one ear out the other. But I always think you'd never say that to someone on the street. Like if you went past a runner, no way would you stop them and be like, "How far are you running?" Like you just think, "Oh, they're running. Good for them." No, these people online would never say to my face in the street, "Why have you got a running vest on?" Like it's funny. That's why I just find it funny.
Do you know what? I've never thought of it like that. Like, but that's such a good way of thinking about it. Like, you'd never just stop somebody and be like, "All right, pal, like, what distance are you on today? Can I see a Strava? Why are you wearing a vest?"
Yeah.
Like, imagine. He'd be like, "I'm going to call the police now, you very strange
This
person."
harassment. You
Yeah,
need to
no,
stop.
like, I think that's like, it's probably like a further conversation, that, isn't it? But like in terms of the online thing in general, um, you're putting yourself out there, and I don't subscribe to the argument that if you're putting yourself out there, then you've kind of got to be able to deal with the stuff that comes
Oh
back. You're
no,
like,
no.
wow, that's mental, because people, you shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, it's not the fact that I'm putting myself out there. It's the fact that you're, for some reason, interjecting yourself into the conversation that with opinions that just don't make any sense. It was quite funny then you said, like, people commenting, "You're not a runner," or you went on a run around the block," and you're like, "Okay, so right, hang on. You're literally counteracting yourself
Yeah.
there. You're telling me I'm not a runner, and then you're telling me I went for a run around the block. If I went for a run around the block, I'm a runner, aren't I?" It's like, but you then start arguing with these people online, and it's like, it just does no good, does it?
Oh no, I probably when I was younger, I would have like started an argument like we all do.
Yeah.
But now the best way to do it is they don't like it if you make fun of them. They are so insecure that I just think if I just have a laugh, be a bit sarcastic, or don't give them what they want,
Yeah.
is when they get angry. And then you start to like beat them down a bit because they're like, oh god, she's right. Like I've got it all wrong. So it's quite entertaining. After a while, it gets really boring. It got to a point where every other comment was, "You're not running fast enough. You're slow. Why have you done this distance?" And it was just like, think of something else. Like,
Yeah. And I think the community in general is just such a nice community, and like,
mm,
there's such a there's such a positive vibe towards everybody. But like you say, there is this toxic part of it, and it's like anything, isn't it? It's like, for some reason, the smallest percentage of people tend to make the most noise. And I think we've seen that, like you mentioned, the run invest thing. That's something that's done the rounds again right recently, like the last couple of weeks, when I can't remember where it was posted, but there was a reel posted of somebody being interviewed at an event, and they said, "What's your biggest?"
oh yes, yeah,
And that came out again, and then that reminded me of the reel that you've spoken about, because that was one of the things that I remember seeing for the first time. And the reason I saw that for the first time, and it's weird, this, because that's how I came across you in the short term, was I saw that reel not because of the hate, but because of the interaction that the hate gave. Um, that's what like drove that reel to me, because it was like, oh, this reel's getting loads of interaction. The algorithm sees it. I think I want to deliver this to people that like running. And it's that for me is so strange, because these people that are hating on you are actually in some ways helping you,
oh yeah.
because they've like exploded that piece of content.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I always say this. I think I replied to a hate comment once, being like, "You do realize you are like making this my job,"
Yeah.
and they don't understand it. They hate it. They're like, "Oh, she's like getting money from this. Oh, she's getting engagement." And like, if that video hadn't have taken off, I don't think I'd have the following that I have now. And it's actually brought so many opportunities and so many people to me that I'm actually not grateful for the hate, because it shouldn't be a thing. But they don't realize what then comes off their comments. Like, the more you comment, the more my video gets pushed out.
Yeah. It's it's weird, isn't it? It's such a weird kind of um, double negative that you think about then, because you're like, well, obviously I don't want the hate. That's mad to say. Like, obviously don't want that. It shouldn't be happening. But like, these people daft? Like,
Yeah.
they like, I don't quite understand it. The running vest thing as well is such an like odd concept. It's like, why? It was like with anything, right? But why do you care? Like,
I
if somebody
know.
wants to wear a running vest to go to Morrison's, other supermarkets are available. Like, I don't care. Like, if I saw somebody with a running vest at Glastonbury,
Yeah,
like,
literally wear it to a festival.
I don't. But it might actually, that actually might be quite a good
Great
idea.
storage.
It's a good vessel. Like, there you go. You can have people at festivals now listening to this. What's in
We
your what's in your bladder? Oh, just yeah,
oh,
vodka coke in here.
that's the next thing. We've started it.
Electrolytes in the left one. But yeah, that must feel weird, because it's like, that's just such a, like, it's a decision you've just decided to put it on to go for a run,
Yeah, and I
and
think
that's just blown up.
I just was wearing one because I wore it marathon training, because I needed somewhere to put my phone. Because who wants to hold their phone and their keys and anything else they need? Like, I'm not going to do it. So I just always wore a vest, and then I stopped the marathon, was doing shorter distances, and just carried on wearing it because I really don't understand the problem with making my life easier. Like, that's all I'm doing. It's literally all I'm doing. And like, women's clothing doesn't really have pockets. Like, our shorts not really built for carrying things. So yeah, and people get so offended, but I've partly used that and made it part of my branding. I'm like, well, people just know me now as the running vest girl, and it's quite funny.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to kind of, I guess, you got to kind of lean into that. But it's weird to me that that's even like, that reel that said it was a running ick. It's like, but why? And again, you can kind of connect all the dots here, where you're saying, would you stop someone in the street and say, what distance are you running? It's like, well, to start with, how do you know that this person's running under 5K wearing a running vest? That's the first thing. Second thing, does it say more about you if you're literally looking at a photo, looking at a Strava profile, going back to the photo? Like, that's a lot of admin for a little
Oh
bit of
yeah,
hate. Like,
yeah.
I just don't understand it.
These people dive deep.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite impressed by them. But like, they'll go back at my old videos. I think that's also the thing. Like, a lot from that video, when you see one video, you don't tend to then dive into their account. So I obviously don't expect people to know what I've done, but they'll be like, "Oh, a girl your age should be able to run 5K," and I'm like, "I ran the London Marathon. Like, do your research." It's just funny. They just they don't back up their comments.
Mm. Has it ever made you doubt what you're doing though? Like, did any come in and do because I know you say like you brush them off and you don't really care about them, but like sometimes it must get like a bit draining.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Especially when I was in the like height of it. Um, you do think like, oh, should I be running a lot further and should I be running faster? Um, because pace for some reason seems to be a big problem as well. And yeah, I tried to, but I don't then enjoy it. It just took the joy out of running. But yeah, the hate comments, they just get a bit tiresome.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a bit more than just the girl that wears the running vest or runs slow. Like, I'm just, you'd think that I'm doing something really bad. And I just think my content's a complete opposite. I try to keep it really positive, um, but some people don't like that.
Yeah. And you are doing a lot of positive, and yeah, I hope you know that, which I think you do, but at the same time it's like, I guess it's good to say it too, but like you can see that with the virtual running club and the
Mm.
growth that you've seen there. Just give people a little bit of insight into that, like what's it called, how they can find it, and also what it's like for you to be able to share the journey of others that you've been on and are still on.
Yeah, so I started Jaylee's Run Club at the start of the year, actually, because I got a few comments from people saying like, "Oh, would you ever start a run club?" But run clubs, I think, as we know, can be quite intimidating. It's quite a lot to go off on your own to a group of people you never met and run. And I'm, as much as I like probably come across quite confident online, I'm quite a shy, introverted person. So I was like, how could I make something where people probably like me that are a bit intimidated could come and still run but have a community? And I thought I'll start a virtual one. So it's all done. We have a Strava group, we have an Instagram page, and we now have a WhatsApp group as well. It's got nearly 2,000 members on Strava, which is crazy because it's only been about 6 months. And yeah, every Sunday, you can run whatever distance you want at whatever pace you want, and you just post about it. And it is literally just I do weekly challenges as well, so it keeps it a bit more entertaining. Like, do stuff every week, and then I share monthly highlights of different members. Ask them questions like how they got into running, what are their next goals, and it's just a nice positive place for people just to share their running experience. And they ask for like advice on the group chat, and like the way yesterday on the Run Club day, everyone did so many events. Like there was Race for Life and stuff, and they're all posting their medals, and it's just like a nice place to just cheer everyone on.
Yeah. It must feel the difference between, a negative post, or when people are commenting negative on a post or negatively on a post, and like that WhatsApp group or that Instagram, let's say on Run Club day on a Sunday, that contrast must be quite stark sometimes.
Yeah, and it makes you realise that the running community is actually lovely. Like it is a small majority of people that are quite hateful, and I actually don't think that they're they're actually the ones that shouldn't really be considered runners because they're not inclusive of everyone. But yeah, on the Run Club, it literally does not matter how slow or how fast you are. Like everyone will hype you up, even if you did 1K round the block. Like we act like you've just ran a marathon
Yeah.
because that's a big deal for some people. It was a big deal for me when I started. Like everyone starts somewhere. And I think also, especially if you don't have people in your life that you can talk to about running, there probably wasn't a place where you could chat to other people, people like you. But now they all come on and talk to each other, and it's like they've got people to like share their problems with or their goals.
It's that community element to it as well, isn't it? And I think when you're starting to get to the numbers you've got to, I mean, even significantly less than where you're at, it becomes a community. It becomes like almost a support network in some ways. And like you say, things can be intimidating. Just to go and meet a load of new people in whatever facet of life is hard. But to go and meet people in a space where you might not be fully internally confident in yourself anyway
Mm.
can be even more difficult. So to have a community like that, that makes it easy and welcoming to kind of join the space, if we're treating it like that, for them, I think is going to be hugely impactful, and I'm sure for you also quite fulfilling as well.
Yeah, no, when I get every Sunday and people send me like the distances they've done, I'm like a proud mum. There is, it's like it's all about my kids. I'm like, oh, well done, and I'm just very proud of them all. And like when so obviously the ballot for the marathon, London Marathon, just came out, and they'll put on the group chat, oh my god, I got in, and then I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you all.
We all need to just get connected with you, Ella, I think. There's
I'm the
something, yeah, there's something like the ballot charm. I love it. Feel like that's the title of the podcast.
yeah.
Go on, run it with a ballot charm. Um, I just want to go back and touch on London just momentarily, because that you say that 8-month journey of nothing to marathon. I think that probably makes everything, finishing something like that is always magnified, because you have the emotion, you have the training that you've put in and everything. But for such a short period of time to go from A to 42.2 and the finish line, like what was that finish like, and how long did it take to kind of process and get over that? It must have felt quite overwhelming.
Yeah, I think marathon training does take over your life
Yeah.
to like extremes that I didn't quite realize. I think my family got fed up with me. It's all I spoke about because it's all you consume. Um, and it's one thing after another. It's like, right, I've got this long run. Oh, I'm going to get injured. The fear of like getting ill before the race or something. It's everything. And then once you've crossed that line and it's over, I didn't run for a lot of like the few months after. I thought I'd be like a natural runner after that. Um, but no, I didn't run for a very long time because I was just like, I've got nothing to run for. It felt weird to run without a goal. It's like, oh, I can just go out and do a 3K and that's fine. So yeah, it took me a while. Marathon blues are a thing. I thought everyone was lying. I thought, oh, surely you're happy, like you've done it, it's over. But yeah, you sit there like the week after. I was just like, I don't know what to do. I thought I'm just so sad. Like it's such a weird feeling because you've accomplished so much, but then you do also do the thing of, did I do as well as I could have? And I think
Mm.
that's where it starts to get into a bit of a negative headspace with it, because I did do that. I thought, that wasn't, I don't think I did as well as I could have. And you think, oh, I could do another one. You know, it's just a never-ending cycle, really. But
Yeah, I've spoken about this on the podcast before, and we've had people on that have talked about marathon blues loads. I had a conversation with a girl called Amina Sattar. Actually, you might come across her online, and she was talking about basically exactly the same thing. Like, you don't realize until it's done, and then you're like, oh wow, like, yeah, marathon blues are real. But when you look at it from the outside and you look in, you're like, you're almost like mourning. I know it sounds weird, but you're mourning like the time with that thing. It's like, if you considered that um amount of time that you spent on it as a person, imagine if you just had that person for 8 months and then suddenly they're not there. It's like,
yeah,
whoa, like, how do I deal with this?
I know. It's like, it got to like a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm like, well, I'd normally be running like
Yeah.
miles, and now I don't have to. And you sort of like are slightly guilt tripping yourself.
Mm.
You're like, well, I should be out doing that because that's become the normal. But then also, I should be celebrating that, oh, I can just do nothing for a while. Yeah, so it's a weird balance.
How did it go back from negative to positive then? How did that shift? Or was it just kind of a slow process of, I'm gonna start again, and this is gonna kinda happen in the run club then, obviously at the start of the year, and
Yeah,
how did that
so
happen?
I had a 10K booked for August, which I had booked during marathon training, and that's where I thought, oh, I'll be fine because I've done a marathon, and then I thought I'd carried on running, but then I didn't run. Did that 10K, and it was the hardest thing of my life. Like, that was awful. And then I thought, I really need to do this again. Like, I need to get my fit, because I think you forget your fitness level at marathon training, and then you lose it, and you're like, I need to get that back. So after that 10K was when I was like, right, I'm gonna put in the work again. But then it got to a point of, I'm not training for anything, so I didn't know what to do. So then I was looking at things to sign up for, and I thought, I'm not ready for another marathon. Don't know when I will be. I was like, so I've signed up for Brighton Half in March, and just working towards that and trying to get it back. But I don't know if it's like a thing of, there's a different level of motivation when you have a marathon coming up, because like, I'm still not in that like hardcore training mode that I was in. So I don't know if that's a thing of quite difficult to get back, but yeah, maybe I need to sign up for another marathon. But
I think though as well, like, you go through stages, don't you? And I've just relating it back to my own running journey. You know, I always used to have this thing where I had to have a race to like be motivated, but I think almost like you're talking about with your community and stuff like that, and what you've put together and how you encourage inclusivity and participation and everything through everybody, whether it doesn't matter about pace and distance and time and stuff like that. Like, that almost should be your motivation rather than like a race. And I think for me, like, I always used to be motivated by racing, and now I just motivated to run because it makes me feel good. Like, and if I
yeah,
want to race in the future, great. Like, and I'm sure I will, and I have in the recent past. Like, but I've done it for like fun, or to do it with my partner, or to, um, be with friends or whatever. Not to, I'm gonna focus on this specific goal and get to this point and put all that pressure on myself, because then, like you say, if it doesn't happen, you kind of said it about London there, like, you were thinking to yourself like, I should have done better. It's almost like, give yourself a break, like, because you just run a marathon. And
yeah,
I've really been guilty of that in the past as well. So I don't know, I've tried to kind of change my headspace a little bit and be that person that's trying to just run because they enjoy it, rather than running for a certain goal, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, definitely, and I am aiming to get there.
Yeah,
I think that also social media plays a part in that as well, because you do
100%.
see a lot of people doing race after race, and it has, I don't really agree with it, but the whole doing like 4 marathons in a year is not right. But it does also make you feel like, oh, they've got this coming up. Why am I not doing that? And it's the comparison thing all over again. But yeah, I definitely am getting more of just run because you want to run. And I don't need a goal. But I am definitely still like, oh, I should sign up for this.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one.
It's a good thing to also have, and like a lot of people love doing races all the time, and that's also great. But it just depends where you're at in your motivation, and do you want to race or run fast or the best you can, or is it just like I have definitely seen this shift of running races just to enjoy running races, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like just get up and just treat it like an everyday run. And just a couple more. The one thing that I picked up on there was, you know, I'm going to say that running influencer now because I know how horrible that sounds to some people. Like you're probably like, oh no, but like people online that people look at are influenced too. So like influencers are influenced, if that makes sense. So like
Oh yeah.
the way the way you're talking there, like people might not understand that. People might not think that you being the person you are online still think about like running in sometimes in that negative headspace. You're not always positive towards it. And I think that's an important message to share as well.
Yeah, no, I would genuinely say I know I do like to keep it realistic. I'm probably a bad runner when it comes to like mindset, but I won't lie about that. Like if I don't want to go for a run, my Instagram will know about it.
Yeah.
Um and majority of the time I don't want to go. And I think that's what people find a bit like, oh, so do you even enjoy it? But like I do, I just find it quite hard to be one of these people that's like, oh, I love running because it's such a love hate relationship. Like, I love the stuff that I achieve, but when I'm actually on a run, am I having the best time? No.
I, I find that moment of getting out the door, I can relate to that so heavily because I find that really difficult. Um, I think that it's the feeling that you get after it, right? That
Yeah.
achievement, that kind of clarity. That's what everybody or a lot of people do it for. But you're right in saying like it's not always nice.
No.
Like
No, and I'll
genuinely.
always I know like a lot of my videos are quite like hyped up, like let's go for a run with all the energy and stuff. And like I do love doing that. And I enjoy my runs more for like I get to go out, I get to listen to some music for a while, I'm just on my own. And it's just nice to be by yourself and also know that you're working quite hard towards something. Um, but yeah, I'll never lie about a run. I'll never be like, oh, that was great if it wasn't.
I think the overwhelming feeling of this conversation is like just don't be that person online, right? Like if you're listening to this and I don't think anybody listening to this will have ever dropped a hate comment on a runner's video. I hope they haven't. If and this is the wrong thing to do from my side in terms of listenership. But if you've ever done that, please don't listen. Like I like genuinely. But I think it's that, and it's also like the feeling of like you see it. Everyone's a runner. You see people say it, but it is just as the community almost living that, isn't it? Like make sure that every interaction you have, you are thinking about that because it can make people feel really crap if you're if you're judging pace or distance or time. Like everybody is trying their best and is on their own journey. Is that kind of like a message that you'd put across?
Yeah, I always say, like my race, my pace sort of thing. It's like it literally I don't really understand the whole hate thing towards pace because sometimes I wish I was faster. But I just don't think I actually have it in me. Like I think we're all just built differently, and I have my pace that I enjoy. And like I run at like a 7:30 kilometer average. If you run at a 4 minute kilometer, great, like that's amazing. But then also, if you run at a 10-minute kilometer, that's still amazing. I think people, I get so many comments where they're like, "Oh, you're walking." I'm clearly not. Like if you've tried to walk at a 7:30 pace, amazing. But it's just not possible. And I think the whole pace conversation is funny because I don't see why people care. Because surely you should only care about your own pace, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I've never understood the problem.
Yeah, and I don't think there is a problem.
No.
I think I think I think for some reason people kind of invent these problems.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think let's finish with this, Ella, because I think you're a great person to ask because you've gone through the whole thing, right? You've gone through the kind of online hate. You've gone through the kind of marathon blues. You've gone through like the whole journey of coming into running later and getting to the point you're at now. Like if somebody is listening to this and maybe they've been put off by seeing some of the online stuff that's happened over the years or seeing like this toxicity that can rear its head in the community, and they're that's what's putting them off. They don't want to run because of that. Like what would you say to them? What would be your kind of advice, I guess?
I'd say you just have to do it for you. And like I know it's hard when you do see comments of it's like I did have this I can't remember what he said, but he said some comment about how I wasn't pushing myself to what I probably could. And I just simply replied to him saying, "You're the reason people are scared to exercise." And I think that's the problem is that if you people have seemed to have built this narrative that if you're not running 100 kilometers a week, you're not worthy. And I think that's what I'm kind of trying to put the message out of if you literally run once a week, you're still a runner. Like I feel like I've made like this motto of like, no matter your pace, speed, pace, distance, or time, you're still a runner. And I try to get that across because, yeah, it is hard when you see people saying like, oh, you're walking and all this, but you just got to run for you. And yeah, it's just, you've got to do what's right for you. It's your pace, it's your race. It's my new thing. But no, it's hard. And I definitely have times of like self-doubt of, oh, I can't do it. Like, I'm not worthy enough. Someone else should have my spot. But at the end of the day, someone always has to be at the back. And the back is not a bad place to be. And I just think, just run for you.